Rising from the center of the Indian Ocean, the island of Sri Lanka is defined by its dramatic verticality. Cloud-covered peaks like Adam's Peak pull the eye upward, grounding the landscape in a deep, lush serenity. But follow the rivers down from those central highlands, and you hit the outer edges, coastal limits defined by centuries-old fortresses and sweeping peninsulas that face outward to the rest of the world. Geographically, the island is a single cohesive unit. Yet for decades, the global conversation about Sri Lanka hasn't been about its natural harmony. It has been defined almost entirely by a strict human division: the Sinhalese majority and the Tamil minority. That rigid social boundary eventually fractured. The resulting split led to decades of armed conflict, carving deep physical and psychological lines into the population that outlasted the fighting itself. Leaders can draft treaties and declare ceasefires, but signatures on a document rarely possess the power to instantly stitch fractured neighborhoods back together on a Tuesday morning. Real, durable reconstruction requires something much harder to manufacture. It demands a shared, lived identity, a common ground strong enough to actively push past historical trauma. This search for common ground is exactly what diaspora poet NY Rajah maps out in the work Echoes of Unity. The poem functions as a cultural artifact, offering a specific answer to how a divided island might actually forge itself together. Rajah suggests that the foundations of national stability exist outside of government buildings in Colombo. They are found in plain sight, woven into the island's everyday routines. If we step back and look at how these distinct groups eat, pray, and dance, we don't see segregation. We find a dense, undeniable sociological record of two communities operating side by side in near-perfect rhythm. We can observe this through a concept called sociological parallelism. This animated model shows how two supposedly clashing cultures can develop distinct, separate practices that eventually bend inward, serving the exact same communal function. Take spiritual devotion. On one street, Buddhists dressed in white walk toward the Vihara. Down another, Hindus carry the sacred veil toward the Kovil. The architecture and the symbols vary, but the physical pursuit of peace is identical. That quiet devotion regularly explodes into celebratory energy. During festivals, the streets fill with the deep, resonant drumming of the Sinhalese Parahara processions. But listen closely to the mechanics of that music. Those Khandian drum beats frequently synchronize with the sharp rhythmic sounds of the Tamil Nadaswaram and Thavil. Musically, the two cultures are constantly locking into the exact same tempo. We see the exact same overlap in physical space. Traditional Sinhalese performance art relies on highly intricate costuming, paired with calculated percussive stepping. Now look at the Tamil Karagattam dance. The visual flair differs, but both traditions utilize nearly identical physical expressions of balance and rhythm to tell their ancestral stories. Whether through the beat of a drum or the steps of a dancer, these populations are expressing the exact same human impulses. They are simply using a slightly different cultural vocabulary to do it. This cultural exchange spans the entire length of the island. If we map it out, we see the stark physical distance separating the predominantly Tamil north, anchored by Jaffna, from the Sinhalese south, stretching down to Tengale. Historically, those miles were bridged by trade routes. Jaffna mangoes traveled down to the southern markets, while southern coconuts moved steadily up to the north. That agricultural trade fostered a deep culinary mirroring. You can trace a direct line between the rich, milk-based Sinhalese karabath and the sweet, rice-based Tamil pongal. Sharing these specific foods across community lines is a physical manifestation of mutual reliance. You do not consistently trade and eat with people you do not trust. The geography and agriculture of the island actively force its people into a highly interdependent ecosystem. In a closed loop of resources, total cultural isolation is physically impossible. Returning to the historical scars of the Civil War, we realize that true recovery requires action. Acknowledging these deep cultural parallels, the shared food, the mirrored dances, the matching rhythms, is the active, ongoing mechanism for overriding animosity. The poem drives toward a sharp realization. The languages spoken at home and the names of the deities worshipped may differ, but the biological and emotional drives beneath them are the same. The bridge section of the poem issues an urgent directive to the modern diaspora and residents alike, a command to cease separation and actively cultivate empathy. The text asks its readers to live under one flag, one shadow. Crucially, this kind of unity does not demand the erasure of unique heritage. It means standing together while retaining exactly who you are. This extends far beyond Sri Lanka. In global statecraft, there is a persistent, dangerous habit of viewing ethnic diversity as a vulnerability, a problem that must be managed or minimized. The final argument is one of unity. A resilient nation flourishes when it recognizes that its diverse cultures are parallel rivers flowing into the same shared ocean.